Hi guys, hope everybody's doing okay. Maybe we're doing some of the workouts that I've put online, or even some of the workouts from other gyms that are also doing online workouts. I'm going to put some links on to other people's as well. But today I'm doing just checking recording. Yes, we are. I'm doing a short seminar on weight transfer. Okay. We looked at stance last week and guard, and now before we kind of do anything else, I want to talk about weight transfer and where you put your weight. Ultimately, if you watch the video from Darren that we did with Darren Phillips the other day, scoring is in Muaythai is scored on effect of a shot. Okay, so you need to see that a shot was effective, and you can do that by you'll see if a shot's effective. A judge will see if a shot's effective by reaction, okay, or movement. So ultimately, if you get moved off your stance, okay, that can show effect of a shot. So a shot could be rubbish, but if it moves you off your stance, then they'll deem it as effective. Okay, it could be a really light shot, but if it just so if your stance isn't strong, if your balance isn't good, you're more likely to give away points to an opponent. Okay, now I talk a lot about mechanics and physics and maths to my students, especially in the early days, especially to do with weight transfer. Now, it doesn't matter if you're 6 stone or you're 16 stone. You want to use your body weight in your shot. If you're 6 stone, you want to be throwing as much of that 6 stone into a shot as you possibly can. And in order to do that, you need to be throwing your body weight, but with control. Okay, so you need to be transferring your body weight from one foot to another. Okay, so if we, for example, we're in our boxing stance we practiced the other day, 10 to 2, step back, okay, hands up. If we're throwing a hook, okay, there's a few ways you can do this. You can pivot onto the front there, or you can take the weight back onto the back foot. Okay, now I teach everybody weight transfer front foot to back foot initially. So there's not wrong in pivoting and hooking onto the front foot here, but for the purpose of this shot, we're just going to take the weight back for this seminar. We're going to take the weight back onto the back foot, so it's be closer range. So we've got our boxing stance, we have our hands up, okay, and we're going to throw a jab, and we start transfer the weight slightly forward. Can you see my head is stepping slightly forward onto the ball of the foot? From there, we will continue to transfer the weight. If we throw a cross, we're coming even more forward, but I'm not overbalancing, I'm not falling over, I haven't got too much weight back, I'm pushing my body weight into the shot. So again, we stand the boxing stance and we transfer the weight forward a little bit, and then we transfer the weight forward again. Now if I want to throw a hook from here, okay, if I want to throw a hook from this position, I would want to use my body weight. So what I suggest is from this position, if you're throwing a hook there, take this hip and this shoulder onto your back foot, okay? So you're transferring the weight from forward, the weight is predominantly on the front foot here, take it back onto the other foot. So we go forward, forward, and twist the weight back, okay? So we're on going front foot, back foot, okay? And by doing that, you can swing your body weight into the shot. So again, that's going to be the same for crosses, hooks from this side, uppercuts. There's a weight transfer. The weight, you're going to be driving the force in the direction that you want the force to go. So your body has to move. If you just use your arms and use your hooks like this, use your arms, no body weight. Okay, you might get a shot in if you're lucky, but not as much power as if you're smashing your hip and your body weight into your shot. Everything comes from your hips, okay? All your power comes from your hips. So again, the words that I use when I'm coaching, I might not say kick or body kick, okay? When I'm explaining something, I might say lift, okay? So if I'm asking people to do a jab, cross, hook, body kick, okay, I might say forward, forward, back, lift. Okay, because ultimately, psychologically in your mind, if I say kick, your brain wants to do that, especially when you're a beginner. You think kick a football, and there's a lot of knee action in a kick. In Thai boxing, there's only a push at the end. You want to use your leg like a baseball bat, okay? You want to use your body and its force. So for a body kick, you want to use it like a baseball bat. I always say pick it up with your hip, okay, and you swing it at your opponent, okay? So a baseball bat can't bend, can it? So the bend that you've already got in the leg, you keep that and you swing that round as it is. There'll be a push through at the end, but we're not going to complicate things at this stage. What I want to get rid of is the kick like this, okay? So we want to lift the hip up and throw the leg at the opponent. Now then, so we're going to look at this standing foot. This is where the weight transfer comes in. Now the heaviest thing on your body is your head, okay? Wherever your head goes is likely to be where your balance goes, okay? So if you stand with your head back here, you're going to feel like you're going to want to go back that way. If you stand here, that's the way you're going to want to go. So I always say to get your balance in a shot and have control in a shot, you want to get your heel off, especially in a body kick, especially in a kicks, okay? You want your heel off at the point of contact. For a body kick, we're going to lift up, okay? Because what we want to do is create drive and force. So we're going to drive from the back foot onto the front foot. But as we do that, we want to pivot and we want to swing like the baseball bat. Swing, okay? We don't do baseball like this. We would step and drive through, okay? So we want to be able to pivot. So if we look at friction, if I have my full foot flat on the floor and I want to pivot, I've got that friction there. I've got to press down, I'm pressing down, and it makes it more difficult to pivot. If I lift as I kick onto the ball of my foot, the pivotal point is smaller, so there's less contact. The kick is coming off the ground and you're lifting your body, meaning your weight's coming out the floor, so you can get better lift and ultimately then get better pivot and better force. Are you following me? So, body kick, okay? I always say just to step slightly out. If you're in a combination, you might already have your foot in the right place, but from this position, my boxing stance, I'm going to step slightly onto the ball of my foot, okay? Now, I want to get in a position where I'm not going to fall over. So I always suggest saying knee over the ball of your foot, head over your knee. There. At that point, you can lift and get balance. Okay? If my head is to the side there, I've got balance and I didn't do too bad. But if you find yourself falling over when you do a kick or losing your balance or dropping down onto your heel, it could be because you've pulled your head back too soon. You want your head over the ball of your foot. So I always say ball of the foot, knee over the ball of the foot so it's straight down, okay? So we're not back here. If I try and balance here like this with my head behind my knee, behind my toe, it's impossible. If I put my knee over my foot, my head over my knee, you can get a lift, okay? You can get a lift and you can get balance. So as I kick, the impact, the top part of my kick, I want my head to be over the ball of the foot, over the knee, okay? We're also going to take the shoulder in order to do that. So we'll step, we project off the back onto the front, okay? And as we do it, we lift. Body kick. Head kicks, drop. Leg kicks, drop. Body kick, lift. Okay, so we're going to come up here. Body kick. Body kick. We lift up. Ball of the foot, get the balance, and lift up onto the ball of the foot. head over the knee, knee over the ball of the foot. So we're transferring the weight from somewhere in the middle all onto the front foot with control and lift to prevent the friction. Even in a low kick, you drop into a low kick, but you still want your heel off. So you've got no pivotal point. You've got a small pivotal point, so less friction and less weight, helping your weight stay off that friction point, so to speak. Again, weight transfer. Now, you can do a teep with a flat heel. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I always coach, it's a little bit harder to do, I think, but I always coach it on the ball of the foot. Because ultimately we want to be going that way. We want to use as much length as possible, okay? So with my foot flat, you can reach that far. It's a bit like when you do stretches, okay? You know, you do the stretches, you keep your heel flat at the back for your calf stretches. If you keep your heel flat, you can go to there. But if you take your heel off, you can go further, okay? So ultimately, when we do a teep, for example, this is a standing position. Now, when I make contact with the teep, with this leg, this is my kicking leg, when I make contact, I want to be on a slight angle. Let me get this right. So we don't want to be 90 degrees. We want to be coming forward like that. Does that make sense? So if this is the floor, we don't want to be making contact here at this range. As we strike the opponent, we want to be coming forward like that. So as we strike, it's all about the timing there. So not here, the opponent's here. We need to strike when this angle here is wider. So the weight, your body weight is coming forward into the shot. So on a teep, I always say ball of the foot, head over the ball of the foot, swing the leg through like, not with a bend, not like a flick, okay? Keep the bend in the back, again, just like before, swing it through, and then we're going to use like a rocking action. Ball of the foot, hips thrust forward, make chins. I always say make extra chins, like that. Because what we're doing here, by pulling the chins in, pulling your chin in, is stop yourself from falling backwards. Okay, if I throw my kick through here, I want to go that way. If I keep my head forward, it's harder to do now. Obviously that was just a random kick, so I was just trying to do the head. So it's important that we thrust and we make chins, okay? There, and the hips are coming forward and up, just like the tick, just like the roundhouse kick. Lift. I'm going to lift into this as well. I'm going to go onto the ball of my foot to get extra length, okay, into the shot. Because I'm coming forward on the ball of my foot, I can go forward. So what I'm not going to do is pivot too much, okay? Again, you can pivot on it. You'll see people doing pivots, but in order to establish the maths and the physics behind it, I always like to point everything the way you're going to go. So I'm going to keep this foot pointing forwardish, maybe at the 2 o'clock. On a roundhouse kick, you pivot, so this foot, this knee here, will pivot like this. The knee will come to the back. If you watch this leg, the knee goes to the back. On a teep, I want to go forward, so I'm going to keep this leg more pointing forward. Okay, so the bend's going to come forward. Sorry. So we drive the leg through, we weight transfer, we want to travel the weight forward, and we want to, on a teep, it's a nice big, long stretch. So we want to step into the teep. If we're doing it off the back leg, step ball of the foot again. I've got that balance, okay? Step through and then push. Okay, your arms can do various things. You can go here, or you can go here and let it swing back, there. But I did a pivot then, which is, again, not wrong. It's kind of getting the maths of it right, the physics right for your body and your flexibility to get maximum reach, maximum power, maximum force and momentum, okay? Again, it's about momentum. When we do a kick, I always say step, because a body kick, because I always say step, because if we did have a baseball bat, we're playing baseball, for example, we don't just pivot on the spot like this, Okay, there is some weight transfer forward because that's where you want the ball to go. So just the same, we step onto the ball of the foot. We want the strike to come forward and onto the person. And again, if I'm looking at this, if I am my opponent here looking at the screen, if I'm aiming to kick with this leg, I am not aiming for here. I'm not aiming for this side, okay, of my opponent. I'm going to aim for here. That's my target. So I'm going to step out and cut through the body. So if I'm kicking with this leg, I'm aiming for this side of the body, not the side that they've got make the contact on is this side. But I'm aiming for this side because I want the force to be at its most powerful when it gets to this side of my body. So I need to be aiming further through. So I will step out towards that side. That's the way I'm going, diagonally forward. Then the leg will come, okay? And I'm targeting the other side of the body to create the drive through, okay? So like we were talking about in the stance, you want the balls of the feet and you want to be able to transfer your weight through. You want your angle and you want to be able to get your balance. It's the same with knees, long knees. You want to be up on the ball of your foot, taking your weight out and forward, projecting forward. Again, you can pivot it, but then this is coming forward. A long knee is coming forward. So you want to get a lift and a pop at the end with the hip, but I would suggest maybe not pivoting so much on the standing leg because you want your body coming forward. If I pivot, I'm going to start turning to the back. And this is a forward strike. A long knee will be a forward strike. A T will be a forward strike. A round knee is a turning strike there. So pivot, body kick, pivot. But make sure you've got your weight balanced, okay? If you take your heels off and get that weight in that position, you'll find you'll be able to reset your stance quicker. Sorry, if you concentrate on where your head is. So my weight is here on the ball of my foot, okay, for body kick. My hands should be up here, of course. And then when I put my foot back, sometimes people might overturn on the way back. So the hips, I did that miles too much on purpose. So the hips might end up facing this way on the way back. So what I suggest again, another weight transfer thing, is my head comes forward over the ball of my foot. I put my head where I want my foot to go on the way back. I kind of over exaggerated it. So to go forward, and then I put my head back where I want my foot to go. If my head's back over here because of balance, my foot's probably going to go over there. Okay, if I've got control of my head weight, I put my head back where I want my foot to land. Not too far behind so I don't come vulnerable on this side and unbalanced. Okay, so always, if you're losing your balance, check where your head weight is. If you want to generate power and force, you've got to look at momentum, okay? Momentum and swing, okay? Equally as such, you need to contemplate friction and use your muscles and your body to enhance your kicks and your strikes as much as possible. Don't let your body fight against it. We do quite a lot of these exercises. I used to be a ballet dancer, believe it or not, so quite accustomed to being quite high up on the ball of the feet. So you're using all the correct muscles. We do a lot of work on those arches and some leg strength in order to make these lifts easier, okay? And keeping the heel off more natural. I know that was a little bit disjointed at times. I kind of flipped from one thing into another quite a lot. I'll watch this back as well, and if I need to kind of clarify or quantify anything, then I will do. But I'm hoping you get the idea about the weight transfer. Power in your hips. If I'm striking with this arm, I want this hip to come with it, and this shoulder. That's where the power comes from, okay? If I'm striking this side, this hip over. body weight, okay, there, or it would just be that, wouldn't it? Or we've got that with a pop on the end with the hip. Again, with the lift, okay, the lift taking the weight off the floor. It's all just science and physics, and when you apply those things to a move, it becomes, that's where you start being able to add extra power and extra force and extra drive. So yeah, I hope that made some sense. I know a lot of my students already know this, so this is kind of these are more aimed at beginners and people who might be interested in starting some point soon. Hopefully we'll be back in the gym and we get some new beginners into the class, and you've got a little bit of basis to start with. Not that you need it, but you know, hey, it's nice to have a little bit of an insight, isn't it? So for now, thank you very much for joining in. I will get another seminar sorted for next week, possibly break that down into the more individual moves, but I'll have a think about it and see which is the best way forward. But thanks again, guys, really appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully catch you next time. Bye.